Welcome to Inspiration by Leon. I look forward to inspire and empower you in the next few minutes. You truly deserve a life of contentment and confidence. So stay tuned for today's topic. Are you perhaps facing a very challenging, difficult situation? One of those it is impossible to get out of these situations. My question to you is, are you talking yourself out of a solution or a plan of action? Or are you talking yourself into a solution and a plan of action? When we face this very difficult situation and people make possible suggestions or we do research to find a solution, we can come up with 100 excuses why nothing will work for me. And often we face burnout, we have emotional meltdowns, we can have a complete breakdown, and yet we are just not able to see or find a solution that looks workable for us. I would like to explain to you what is actually going on. When we have thoughts, when we need to make decisions, when we need to put a plan of action together, we rely on the information that is stored in our brain. That information comes from what we've learned, whether that was through studies or experiences or stories of others, movies that we may have watched, TV programs that we may have watched, podcasts that we may have listened to. But all the information in my brain comes from somewhere. And when I need to make decisions, find solutions, plans of actions, my brain goes and search what it has that is relevant for that particular decision or action that I need. Now, when you are facing a difficult situation that you may never have experienced before, or that you never had to make such hard decisions about, it might be that your brain has no evidence of such an experience, that it can't find in your so-called brain library any information that can guide you. It's complete unfamiliar territory to the brain. And what does the brain now do? It tells you, we don't think this is a good idea to try and find something because we can't help you. And I'm talking layman's language now. And what happens is the brain wants to rather stick to familiar territory, whether that is good for us or not good for us. And now we can come up with all kinds of reasons. I won't be able to because what if I don't have? Will I be able to? There's no way out. And everything seems completely impossible because the brain focuses on what it has at its disposal. And that is definitely not serving you. And very often we see that people need a complete breakdown, a complete health scare before they actually start finding a solution. And you know why? Because we often then focus on getting better, focus on getting out of hospital, focus on not being in this terrible situation. And suddenly the shift of the brain is now on the positive, on getting better. And then we may actually come up with a solution out of desperation. But you can make a plan and you can change your narrative before you get to a breaking point. It's going to need some intentional effort, but it is possible. And it's very simple steps. The first step is that you actually need to make a decision about what do you want. I want a different job where I can be happy and live out my talents. I need to get out of this abusive relationship. I cannot stay where I am staying any longer because of turmoil, because it's unsafe, whatever the challenge is that you may be facing. But if you make the decision to say, I want better for myself, I want different for myself, that is your first step. Once you've made that decision, you need to change the language that you use. And this is not only the speaking word, this is also your thought language. You need to change that into opportunity speaking, where you can say, I am determined to find a way out. I am determined to find a solution. I want something better. I prefer to believe that there is a solution. That opportunity language actually activates your brain's radar. And again, I'm using layman's language, but it helps your brain to shift its focus from all the negative and to only focus on what it knows to what is out there that I don't know about. What possibilities are there that we are perhaps missing? And the minute you change your narrative and the minute you make the decision that you are stubbornly determined to find a solution, you might be pleasantly surprised what inspiration may come your way, what information may come your way. You may even look at advice being given or suggestions being made in a complete different light. But what you also need to remember is once you've made the decision, it doesn't mean that circumstances are going to change in the blink of an eye. It is a process. It may take far longer than you would have liked it to take. But everything happens in God's timing, and therefore we need to trust the process. And secondly, do not ignore the nudges and the information that come your way. Your brain is used to discarding everything that it doesn't know. You now need to understand that when there's drama, there's opportunity, and you need to investigate that opportunity. Be aware and recognize it when your brain is trying to talk you out of something, and then you intentionally talk yourself into something, and you say, I don't know where this is going to lead. I don't feel that this is an option or a solution, but let me look into this. And you will eventually start picking up momentum because your brain will see that we are making progress in a rewarding direction. So I want to encourage you, recognize when you talk yourself out of something and start talking yourself into something, because where there's drama, there's always opportunity.
Thank you for joining us today. If you would like to know more about the programs and mentoring options that I offer, feel free to contact me on leon@radiantwomen.co.za. I would love to hear from you.